Hi, I'm Nikki Nadler, and I chose to do my research on parent and adolescent communication. The reason why I chose this was because it really caught my attention when doing the research. I personally have always had great communication with my parents growing up, but not everyone can say the same. So I decided to dig deeper into the differences between parent and adolescent communication and why my communication was so good, but why my friends cannot say the same. The article that I chose on parent and adolescent communication focuses more on parent and teen communication. It explains that depending on the positive or negative interactions that parents have with their teens, if this is hindered, then they may lose the ability to have the coping mechanisms for their emotions. Focusing more on the mother-daughter communication, it is shown that girls find it more challenging to cope with their interpersonal problems because they hold these relationships to a higher standard and higher value on interpersonal relationships. It is shown that when girls have a negative interaction with their mothers, it can lead to anxiety symptoms. There is a direct effect between communication of mothers and anxiety symptoms, indicating that daughters communicating with their mothers may be anxiety-inducing for girls. The importance of these findings is that if there is no effective communication between mothers and daughters, it may hurt the girls in the long run, resulting in anxiety. Limited communication, keeping secrets from your parents, have been shown to be related to lower self-esteem, depressed moods, and even delinquency. Parents who are seen as overly critical by adolescents have a tendency to have a higher levels of emotional distress as well. The takeaways that I got from this article is that parents who provide positive comments and feedback and are active listeners allow their teens to feel more comfortable to seek and discuss problems with their parents. Parent-adolescent communication has been connected to teens' use of positive-based coping strategies if their communication is good. It is indicated that humor also mediates the relationship between girls' communication with their mothers and reduces anxiety symptoms over time. Girls tend to use humor to make them feel better and not really internalize their problems as well. It's found that social support from mothers to their daughters helps mediate girls from internalizing their problems as well. Effective communication and interactions between parents and teens are an important context for self-development and these functions to be able to enhance adolescents' emotional regulations abilities through social support mechanisms. Now I'd like you to pause and go and check out the YouTube clip that's linked below. If you go to minute 6 at 30 seconds, you will see a clip from the TV show Gilmore Girls. And you'll see Rory, the daughter, and Lorelai, the mother, having an interaction. Lorelai is asking her mother for help and seeking advice, and watch their interaction. When watching the clip from Gilmore Girls, you'll see Rory and Lorelai's interaction with each other. You can see that they are perfectly displaying mother-daughter communication. Lorelai is being an active listener and providing positive comments towards Rory wanting to be open with her mother, and she's making sure that she's not being overly critical as well, and she's just listening and providing positive feedback. Lorelai is also being humorous and using humor to mediate what's going on between the two. They're joking about whether Lorelai actually wants to know about Rory's love life, and they're going back and forth with these little jokes. Lorelai is also being socially supportive to her daughter and using effective communication between parent and adolescent. Rory seems to have coping strategies and emotional regulation abilities, which is very important to have as a teen, and especially when you're growing up, to know how to use them. And it's all thanks to her mother, Lorelai. I talked about today the parental and adolescent communication because our communication with our parents as teens is so important and directly affected to our coping strategies and emotional stability. If there is no effective communication between mothers and daughters, it may be directly linked to anxiety for girls. Good communication between parents and teens can help you as you get older, so you know how to cope with this emotional distress instead of internalizing all your problems and not knowing how to deal with everything. You want to be able to go seek out one of your parents and be able to have that open discussion where you can talk about your problems and they're not being overly critical of you either. Having a parent that provides positive feedback and is a good listener will help teens get help from their parents when they're in a difficult situation. Being able to make jokes with your mother to mediate the tension that you're feeling will help you as a teen, and as you grow older, You'll know how to deal with these problems as well on your own when you're out of the house and out on your own. If there is none of that communication, you're gonna end up not knowing how to deal with your problems, and you're gonna internalize everything, and it's gonna result in a lot of problems and internalizing everything and just holding and bottling it all up. If you are a parent to a teen, make sure that you are providing emotional support. You don't need to be overly critical of them. Make sure you're providing that listening ear, you're being open to them, having them come to you and want to seek out and discuss their problems with you, and that you're helping them with whatever they're going through in high school, with grades, boyfriend, girlfriend, friendship issues. You want to be able to have that open communication with them to help them not internalize those problems. And if you're a teen, make sure you're going to your parents and asking them for help, that shoulder to cry on, that listening ear. You want to ask them for help when you're in distress, and you don't want to internalize your problems, because that's going to hurt you in the long run and end up with something that you won't be able to fix because you never went to your parents for help. So make sure that both of you guys are having that open communication, not being overly critical of each other, and just being there and listening to each other. Thank you.